Welcome to Entreprogrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
All right, we're rolling. We're live.
Nice.
Full house today too.
Yep.
Josh has been taking off for the last couple of weeks for Black Friday shopping.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been Black Friday shopping for weeks.
Well, it's a good thing we actually fucking sold something. Otherwise, I think
Yes.
I think Josh was gonna go in like I don't know what he was gonna do, but
The mushroom cloud you would have seen over Pennsylvania would have been Josh's head exploding.
yeah.
How's the Plural Sight sale coming out? You guys have been relentless over the last.
We're gonna make some damn money.
Buy or die, people.
Burn the fucking the house down.
A list is worthless if it doesn't make you any money. So
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been going okay. We did a Plural Sight promotion about less than 2 months ago. So I didn't think it was going to be a huge winner. Basically, they came to us on bended knee and begged me to run another promotion. I think I was telling John this. I think now that Plural Sight is public, they've repented of their stance now on hey, we don't do discounts, because they're actually doing a lot of discounts now. Yeah. And I actually think that I have a theory that maybe their growth has plateaued because and they're having to deal with Udemy.
Or it might also be just the force of like being a public company and having
quarterly numbers
to deal with.
Yeah,
you're forced to like do sales and stuff to meet the numbers. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
Yeah, because he basically they were like, oh, would you please do another promotion? We have two, actually. They had a Black Friday one, and then they have a year-end one. And they're like, would you please do another promotion? We'll meet your demands on the commissions. So they're just going for raw numbers at this point.
How much did you guys do this time around?
Well, so far last time we did about 17K, and so in total sales. This time we are currently sitting at 8,500. So we'll probably,
Oh, is it 8,500? I'm showing 7,500.
That's what Ross emailed me today, and he said 8,500. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So,
you guys are splitting it 50-50, or what's your share?
No, we're getting 1-to-1.
You're getting all.
We're basically
getting
all the money.
Josh held out on this negotiation. He was like, Josh was in full on dick mode to Plural Sight. Like, he would send these fucking emails that are like, "Fuck you, we want it all."
Hand.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, dude, like we should work with them. He's like, no, our demand. Fuck them. They don't know who they're dealing with. And I'm like, all right. But finally they came around. They were.
You should give them $1 per sale just so that they feel like they won something.
Yeah. Well, so no, I know that their sale. So if they get a customer for $200, which is what they're going to pay us for an annual, they're going to probably make 3 to 4 at least off of that customer. It's probably more like 4 to 6 at least.
So for 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So So
what's the lifetime value of their customer or lifetime?
No, they won't share that. But I know, I mean, just based on subscription math, ballpark, and I'm sure Plural Sight's up there too, because they're, they're a lot of their people probably are able to get their companies to pay for it too. So they're probably, I would guess that an annual subscriber on average stays subscribed for a couple of years, at least 2-3 years.
Yeah. I guess the same. Yeah, that's pretty good though. That's not bad at all, because we did 3 freaking launches back to back, essentially 3 sales. So not bad though. I mean, we're looking at for this month, like in sales, like something like close to $40,000. So That's pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely not be doing much with the list in December. So.
Let it
But yeah,
rest a little bit.
I think
Yeah.
Plural Sight also probably like realized that they're probably like, you know, I'm imagining that we're their number one affiliate by a large margin. I don't imagine anyone else sends them nearly as many customers.
I'm sure there's other sites out there that are bigger, but I doubt any of them really know how to use email. So they don't generate nearly the revenue that we do. And so, I mean, basically my frustration with them was that they kept saying like, oh, well, we'll, you know, I mean, they gave us a bump in our commission because we've done a lot for them. And then they took it away. And they're like, well, what have you done for me lately? And I'm like, okay, how about like, I've been so tempted. I told John, I'm like, I'm super tempted to just like go and change all of the affiliate links that we have to Udemy links. Like they're all pretty links and I can do that. Like we've got a best-selling book, like probably the best-selling programming book of all time, plugs Plural Sight hardcore throughout.
Yeah.
Which continues to sell, hundreds of copies every month. We've got how many thousands of YouTube videos where John's like in every single one of them practically, he's like, hey, did you know I did Plural Sight videos? Go to Plural Sight. We've got I mean, like the amount of type-in traffic that they get from us is probably 10 times what they get in terms of direct clicks. So for them to be like stingy with us and like, oh, well, we'll bump your commission temporarily, but you're going to have to jump through all these hoops for us. I just got really fed up with it. And so now like most of Ross's emails, I just archive.
Plus, you know how many authors I've referred and how many people have become Plural Sight authors because they've watched my videos.
Exactly.
Like,
yes. I mean,
so
like literally, I don't think aside from Plural Sight itself, I don't think anyone else has done as much for Plural Sight as John has done for them.
It's probably true.
Like for them to be stingy about things and like, oh, we're going to nickel and dime you on everything, just pushes my buttons.
Even though your name is not John.
Gosh, smash!
Yes. So yeah, my negotiating is called the archive button.
Please come back. We want.
So you're still doing the imposter course, going through with it?
No, we canceled it. So
what's the net outcome of it all?
So we ended up with 42 sales, I think was the total. So I offered two versions of it, a $500 version, which was going to have coaching, and a $100 version, which was just the video content. And so we ended up getting two sales at the $500 level. And then we got 40 sales at the $100 level. And it was just like when Jason and I had talked about it, we're like, look, if we're not like, what we really wanted was like for us to feel good about this.
What did your paper say? You have your sheet where you write down the numbers before you do the launch.
Oh, I didn't actually do that for this one, but our internal, like for me and Jason, for us to feel like it was really worth it, we wanted to see 20K in revenue.
Yeah.
And then 10K, we would have probably still done it. But it was basically 5K. And then we're splitting that essentially three ways because me, John, and Jason, we're all going to take an equal cut. So it's like it would be like, well, and then you figure what we see now these days is a 15% refund rate. So, because anything over like $29 seems like we get a refund rate of 10 to 15%. So it would have been essentially $4,500 split three ways. And Jason and I were going to have to work on this for the next 3 weeks to deliver it. So it just wasn't worth it at all. So John had a really good idea though. So what we did was we went back to everybody and said, look, we didn't get enough interest in this. So we're going to cancel it for now. You can either get a refund or you can sign up for the membership and we'll give you every other course that we have. And I think like 2/3 of the people took that option. So we ended up keeping most of the revenue.
Did they have to go re-sign for the annual plan?
Yep. Yeah, we made them sign up and actually go through the process to sign up for the membership, We had a few people that were already members, so we worked out something with them. But yeah, so we didn't end up having to refund $5,000 worth of revenue. It was a smaller amount, but yeah, that was disappointing, definitely.
That's the postmortem, right?
What's that?
It's a postmortem you need to do to figure out what happened there.
Well, I mean, I think at this point I have a pretty good understanding of what's going on. So I did a bunch of numbers for John. Let's see if I can pull those up.
Well, and it was good that we did the Cyber Monday, like Black Friday sale right afterwards, and the Plural Sight one, because what we established was the fact that people will buy if the offer is good enough. Like because after that we're like, what the fuck? Is our list dead? Like, is everyone like a zombie? And the answer is no, they're not zombies. They will buy. The offer just has to be good enough.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So a few things. So the biggest thing. Well, okay. So I looked at the what I did the most analysis on was the Cyber Monday sales. So we ended up doing 250-ish sales for Cyber Monday at $99.
You didn't take the bet. I had the 30K bet there.
Yeah, no, yeah, you were actually very close.
What was your projection?
I honestly thought it would be more like 10 based on what I'd seen. So I
would have won that bet handily.
You would have won that bet. You can claim victory on that.
But you made the money. I didn't make anything.
I hit it pretty much on the money. I was predicting 250.
Yeah,
we were right around that.
Yep. Yeah. So so what we found, though, when I looked at the who actually spent money on the Cyber Monday stuff, it came down to basically 80% of the revenue came from United States and Canada and Europe, right? Mm-hmm. Which isn't super surprising. But if you also look at the lead scores in Drip, it was people that were, the average lead score was 300 or 350, which is insanely high. The average for the list is about 60.
The average lead score of the buyers was 350, you mean?
Yes.
And how's the scoring done? Like, what are the...
It's like open an email, you get a point, click a link, I think you get 3 points. You start at 0. So those... Whoa. Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of points, man.
Yes. So the thing is, basically, the only people who are willing to spend money on our list right now are people that live in the US and Europe and who are extremely, extremely active, right?
Or have been on the list long enough that they have seen everything.
Because the points decay over time.
Yeah, the points decay over time. If you're not opening emails, the points actually decay, right?
What's the equation there? Do you know?
For the decay?
Or overall, what's the equation for the lead score? Like, it's from 0 to 1,000. What's the scale?
No, it goes up infinitely. We have people with like a lead score of like 3,000.
And they haven't bought shit?
Probably a lot of them have.
Okay.
So what I've noticed with the membership, also, I've noticed this with the membership. Basically, nobody buys the membership if their lead score is under 200.
200.
Pretty much everybody who buys is like these hyper engaged people, and if you actually do the queries on the list, we only have about 5,000 people that fit that criteria, that they're in the US and Europe and they're engaged above, kind of above normal levels. And so that is a big constraint. Like, that's just a problem that we have right now. Is that
true also for affiliate offers that you guys make?
Yeah, it's just true in general.
But there is one thing interesting that I don't think we talked about this, Josh, but as you're saying this, I'm realizing is one thing we can do too is to increase that ratio in the list, like engage people, get people to increase their lead score, right? Figuring out campaigns
which is what I've been doing with the daily emails too. Like, there's more touch points in general. You
could also do crazy stuff that doesn't scale, like find the people who are on the bubble and mention them in a YouTube video or tweet at them or something, and see if you can get them to engage a little bit more that way, and then they'll take your emails a little bit more seriously.
True.
Or do what Chuck did, which is tell them to respond to your email and then get mad at them for responding to your email.
Do you want to go into this?
Oh man, we're gonna come to blows today.
No, I'm totally I'm totally responding to him, but I'm not gonna respond within 2 hours. Sorry.
I also, I mean, I think when someone like has the expectation, like the demand of like, you know, I mean, that level of like of presumption gets a big middle finger from me as a response. Like, fuck you. I'm the successful fucking guy here. Like, you're just who the fuck even are you that you're gonna answer me back and expect my time? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the one running the business. You're the one like teaching them something. Like, if they're gonna fucking, you know, who are you? Like, that's some random fucking dude. Like, you know, you're gonna email me and demand something from me?
No.
Well,
say that in the email that respond to me. Just don't say that. In that case, you'll be fine. Like,
no, it's just the demanding a response back that quickly. He was gonna respond.
Well, the other issue is that I didn't send you guys the question that was asked, but it was real short. How do I move into freelancing? Yeah, I've got a real short answer for that. No, wait, no, I don't. And so the way I answer emails is I go through and I clean up my email inbox in the morning, and then in the afternoon I have time scheduled to actually go back and do deep responses where needed.
Yep.
And his just hadn't gotten to the top of the list that day. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I like I said in the email when we were discussing this, I typically, somebody like that, I would probably unsubscribe. Well, just because I might look at their account, but I probably would just unsubscribe them because I have found I've had people like that buy from me, and I regretted it deeply. Like, it was if the relationship starts that way, there's a pretty good chance that it's going to be that way. It's going to continue that way. And every time I've accommodated somebody like that, I've just regretted it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. If he becomes a problem, I'm definitely going to drop him off the list. But obviously, he wants a response, so it means something to him, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. But
send him a link.
For people who are listening, essentially what happened was I sent an email out, and at the bottom of most of the emails, so I've been warming my list back up. And funny enough, it's actually been growing, not shrinking. A lot of people worry that you start emailing a cold list and people drop off like flies. And I've had a little bit of that. But anyway, so I got a reply back, and I didn't have time to get back to him because what I wanted to do is I wanted to record a DevRep episode on YouTube and then email him and say, here's a video with your answer in it. And I'm going to be doing that this morning after this call.
You should do an episode instead on how to win friends and influence people, and then send that to him.
But anyway, so he emailed me the next day on the next email, because I've been emailing people every day, and he basically said, "Hey, dude, I emailed you on the last one. Where's my response?"
Well, okay, so let's be fair to this guy. He sees this email come through. You say, hey, feel free to respond to me. He responds to you, and then he sees another email come through. And if you're looking at a normal email interaction as a human interaction, in his mind, he's like, hey, why are you sending me emails when you're not responding and you're actually asking me to respond? So I am going to defend the guy and say, like, maybe you're not able to respond to emails that quickly, in which case you space out your emails every 2 days or something along those lines. I think being
he has an unrealistic view on how things go together, that they're not automated. So he thinks I just sent him another email.
Well, even still, when you respond rudely to someone and short, and even just his question, how do I become a freelancer? What the fuck? Like, that's just not an intelligent fucking email to send someone, right? Who is busy and you respect their time, right? When people send me that shit, I either send them a video and say, what the fuck does this mean? Or I just delete the damn email. Like you know what I mean? Wasting someone's time. Or people send emails that have misspellings and no punctuation, and they don't capitalize.
I really didn't want to bash on this guy.
I respond back, and I'm like, what the fuck? Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice I can give you, which is when you want, like you're a sloppy person. Like you do shit without regards to what the impact is. If you email someone and you want advice from someone, make sure that you think about what you're going to say. Take the time to capitalize, to use proper spelling, to use punctuation. Otherwise, I can tell you what your fucking problem is. You're a fucking loser. Goodbye.
Well,
okay.
that is all fine and dandy. In his, all I'm saying is, don't send the email, hit reply to me. Because if you're saying that, you're creating a expectation on the other party. Just don't say that. Delete that line in that email, and you're fine. Then you're completely justified to not worry about the guy, not having to respond to the guy, delete him from the list. What I don't like is that first you're creating this.
But I am going to reply to him. That's the point.
Right. But if you're like to a human being, he's getting constant emails and he's not getting respond, even though you are saying, hey, respond to me. There is something wrong. Something is off. So you might as well just remove that line, respond to me, or hit reply, or something along the lines to respond to him saying, hey, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks. Something.
I could reply in a few days.
Yeah.
So I could do that. That's fair.
It's good to mix it up. What I found is like I learned this from poker. Like it's variability, right? Like so there's the optimal move that you make, right? But you should only make that move like 15% of the time, and then 25% of the time you should do something else. Like if you have aces, sometimes you should raise, but a small percentage of the time you should just flat call, right? So the same thing is what I do with responding to people is some of the time I'm how to win friends and influence people. The other time it's 48 laws of power. So you don't know what you're going to get.
You don't know if you're going to get Happy John or Angry John.
But that's it. Like for that one person, he may or may not be going through all of the variations of John, so he might just get one of them. So in his mind, he's got one. So it didn't matter. If everyone was going through that and everyone was getting that, then you might actually be on to 48 laws of power.
I like John's approach. Sometimes you punch him in the face, and sometimes you punch him in the face and break their nose.
Okay, so here's a parallel, that a very close parallel actually. So I had a member join the membership group, and it was this lady, and she emailed. I think she direct messaged me and said, "Hi, I want to hire a freelancer to work on my coding project. How do I hire?" It was almost the same question. How do I hire a freelancer to work on my coding project? Maybe we could hook them up. They would probably get married. And so I said, "This is a great question. I want to answer it. Can you post it in the general forum where everyone can see it, and I'll answer it there." So she does that. And then like 12 hours later, we get an email. Like she emails John, and she's like, "I want to cancel my account. The moderator told me he would answer my question, and he didn't answer my question." And well, meanwhile, like, so she posts her question, and again, it's just, how do I hire a freelancer? And so I replied and I said, okay, like, we need more than this. Like, can you give us more detail about the project you're trying to work on? Like, tell us the story of what you're trying to do. And I guess she did that. And then 12 hours later, I hadn't replied yet, so she canceled her account, and she was just like extremely difficult and hostile throughout the whole process. And that's kind of like, that is
you have to kill that.
Yeah, that's exactly like, that's typically how I see these things
but
go.
it may not be the way this guy is. I mean, I could respond, it could be exactly what he needs, and then life could go on. But yeah, if he continues to act that way, then I would definitely just be like, you know what? Your emails aren't making it to my inbox anymore for some reason.
You got the Josh Earl archive problem.
It's not worth worrying about, honestly. Like,
yeah,
I'll give you a good example too, right? Like, I mean, a lot of emails I just fucking delete. Some of them I just give them a life lesson, a harsh life lesson when they're stupid. So but some of them too, like, I mean, this guy, just this 21-year-old kid, emailed me on the Bulldog Mindset email, and he was like, "Hey man, I watch all your videos," and he wrote it. Well, I don't remember exactly what he said. He said, "I live in Point Loma. I hear that sometimes you will work out with people, and I would love to, meet you wherever you're going to work out, whatever time is convenient for you. Can I join you for a workout sometime?" Right? He didn't email and say, "Could you get on Skype and mentor me for an hour for free," or some bullshit, right? So I replied back to him, and first I Googled his name to make sure he wasn't fucking crazy, right? And then I replied back to him, and I was like, "I'm gonna do a leg workout on Wednesday. I'll be here at if you're there at 3:00, you can come and join me." And he did, and he got some free mentor. But his approach, you see what I'm saying? It's like it all had to do with his approach. The way that he did that, like, caused me to respond. I'm gonna be cool, But if someone even gives me the hint of not valuing my time or whatever, it's not even I'm not gonna fucking deal with it. Like, I got too much shit to do. Right. I'm not gonna worry about that shit.
All of you guys, what you're saying is all valid. All I really have any problem is Chuck saying, "Go ahead and respond to my email." If you did say that and people were responding, then it's fine. Like, it's like, okay, man, I'm sorry, I don't have the time. But if you say, "Hey, respond to my email," now you're creating an expectation loop in the other person.
Yeah, but the expectation is that I'll reply. It's not that I'm going to reply right away.
Right. Well, then don't send another email, is what he's saying. If you're just going to tell me, "Hey, respond to me," but then all he sees is another email while you didn't respond. So in some ways, the expectations of like a human communication are not being met when you say something like that. So either you make it clear, "Hey, respond to me. I will get back to you within a week." Then you're fair too. Then you're creating the right expectation. Here, you're almost creating an expectation which is not being met. That's all my challenges. I completely agree. There are nasty customers who should be removed. There are customers that are useless who should never be. Like, we've learned it in some of our rental business that you get some of those nasty customers who come in, like, who ask for all sorts of shit. They are the first ones we decline, because if you want 5 different things, you are the wrong person to be in this, like, to stay with us. But when you're creating the expectation for them, then it's wrong, is all I'm saying. Just don't create the expectation, or if you create it, then find a way to meet it.
But he said reply to me. He didn't say I'll reply back to you.
No, he did not. Yeah,
yeah.
I get what you're saying, Manny. But for me, I've done this before, and I will get, I might get 50 or 100 replies. Mm-hmm. There's like literally no way that, and I will usually get through them in a couple of days. But there's literally no way that you can possibly do that. And so it's like, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, but also, like, if you want to, I think it's still okay to do that when you have a bigger list, but you can't, like, I don't know.
All I'm saying is don't create expectations that you cannot meet. You just go one way or the other. Just don't say that. Or if you say that, then try to find a way to meet it. That's all.
One thing some people say is, like, I will do my best to reply to everyone, or, I'll read every single one, even if I can't reply to everyone, or something like that. There's definitely,
you can have
you can soften it that way.
But, hey, I'm not able to get to every email on time, but I'll get back to you as soon. Blah, blah, blah. Something along those lines kind of makes the person feel a little more not jaded. But anyways, I think we're giving this person too much airtime here.
Let's read his name and email address on the air while we're at it.
There we go.
Back to your postmortem. What's the analysis then?
Okay, I have no idea where we even work. But okay, so the biggest takeaway, I think, for me right now is that the customer, like, our customer base, we have a list of 65,000, but our actual customer base is more like somewhere between 5 and 15,000. Like, those are the people that are realistically going to spend any money. So when we do a launch and we make 50 sales, we're actually, like, as a percentage of the list that is actually legitimately able to buy whatever it is that we're offering, that's actually a lot better than it might seem on the face of it. And I think that is one of the big constraints that we're bumping up against, is that we just hit we kind of hit saturation point really early with the customers that can actually afford to spend money. So I looked at okay, so I did some analysis on the, let's see here. Yeah, so on the emails, John had asked me like how many people like read the email, saw the promotions. So we started off with 66,000 subscribers. We ended up getting 54% of the people on the list at least opened one of the emails for the promotion for the this is for the imposter syndrome one, and 5% of the whole list clicked through to the sales page.
Wow, 3,000 clicks.
Yep, and then our actual conversion rate on a $100 offer was 0.06%. So like when I see that, that's just like, okay, offer clearly, just wasn't connecting for whatever reason.
The on-page conversion is really bad too. You're getting more.
Yeah, well, that's where
30 or 40 sales, like not 1%, but 0.1%. That's really bad for your own offer. And an EPC of almost $1, which is still pretty darn bad.
It's like $1.50.
Yeah.
Right. So that's like, to me, that's pretty clear that the offer is, because the offer is the biggest thing that's going to swing that.
Yeah.
And so that one. And so then by contrast with the Cyber Monday, we did 66,000 subscribers. We only had 18,000. Now this is gone up a little bit. This is a snapshot, but we only had 18,000 people open the emails, which is only 7% of the list. Only 1,400 clicks, but we had 219 sales.
Yep.
And it was like 5 times higher at this point, and that's gone up, but it was 5 times higher.
$15 EPC.
Right. Yep. Than the other offer.
The other offer probably had more curiosity clicks, right? It was like, if people want to see, oh, what is this imposter syndrome course, right? Whereas the Cyber Monday, they're like, oh, we've already said what it is. It's all these courses for $99, right? So if you're clicking that, you're like, okay, I want to buy this more likely. Whereas the other one is curiosity, like,
So then I mean, okay, I get the fact that the offer was not good, and I think that's what when John and I had the initial conversation, that's what I was saying, that the offer is just not hitting the point.
Yeah.
But then how do you correct this, or what would have been done better?
Well, so I think this was a slightly extreme example, but pretty much everything that I've done over certainly the last 6 months, probably most of this year, has basically been this exact same thing over and over again. It's 50 sales, 50 sales, 50 sales, almost no matter what I throw out there. It's like the same result. And I think that the biggest factor is the small pool of customers that we're dealing with. So
but what could you do?
Well, that's where I'm going with this. So John and I had an interesting meeting this week. And John may have talked to you about it, Manny, but we met with a guy. So this guy, John, why don't you actually tell the story?
Yeah, so I can't remember exactly how he found me. It was one of those things where someone messages me maybe from LinkedIn or something and is like, would you like to get more coaching clients? I could get you, coaching clients. And so I think I replied back, but I replied back to him and I'm like, sure, if you could get me a bunch of coaching clients that, right, like how do you plan on doing this? Or I can't remember exactly what I responded back, but he had a good response. Again, email is so important. People don't fucking realize how important, like how you phrase things and what you say in email makes a huge difference. But somehow whatever he responded back, it actually piqued my curiosity. Like he responded back as an intelligent human being. And so I said, okay, sure, fine. Well, I'll jump on the phone with you and I'll hear what you have to say. And basically I was ready for a sales pitch and I was like, here's the thing though. I'm like, I'm not like looking to like invest, like to take a risk on you and see if you can like generate me leads and shit. Like I if you can actually make me money then we're talking. But I'm not looking for someone. You cold contacted me, so if you can show me a way that you're actually going to make me money, then and he responded pretty well to that. And he said, well, let me look at your stuff. And I mentioned him. I was like, it's not just like coaching clients for Bulldog Mindset. That's great. I'm not really advertising that, but I've got the Simple Programmer site as well. And, eventually I'll be selling stuff on Bulldog Mindset. So he said, well, let me look at all your guys' stuff and I'll get back to you. And so actually kind of funny. I don't know if you heard this part of the story, Josh, but this again was another like plus in the book for him. He like emailed me like the next week and he's like, oh, I tore my pec. I had to get surgery. Right.
Oh, nice. I wonder if he saw your videos or something on that, like, because you talked about it.
Yeah, but no, he legitimately tore his pec. And so
he tore it just to have that commonality with John.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's hit me, bro.
It's like the fucking Fight Club where he like punches himself and shit. But anyway, so then like Thanksgiving happened and whatever. Then he emails me back. It's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I haven't gotten back to you, but I had the pec surgery and and it took, the recovery is longer than I expected. And then we had Thanksgiving and I just had a baby 4 days ago. So I'm like, all right, okay. So anyway, he put together a presentation. Basically what they do is kind of a full service, they're like a Facebook ads agency, but a full service funnel, right? And they don't.
Let me jump in. So what I'm phrasing it as, the way I see them is they do traffic driven product development.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty
What's
accurate.
the name of the guy?
What's that? They do advertising or traffic driven product development.
What's the name of the guy?
The company.
Oh yeah, let's not give them press.
Yeah, let's not yet, because we
can you chat it up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they do, so what they're wanting to help us do is take the organic content that we have, run ads with it, find out what the audience's biggest interests are, which we have some idea, but I think they can help us validate some of those ideas, and then start to go work from that back to products that we can create. Versus what most Facebook consultants are going to do is they're just going to come in and they're going to be like, all right, well, you've got these courses, let's run some ads for those courses. And that's not gonna, like, if we kind of already have problems with our offers. And John and I have been talking about, like, okay, do we need to get some coaching? Like, who could we talk? If we get coaching, whoever it is has to be able to help us with our offers, because that's the biggest problem for us. We're really good at audience building. For most people, that's the struggle. For us, it's like, it's finding the connection points and coming up with great offers for the people that we're bringing in. So with this, we'd be building something from the front end to the back end, all the way, specifically targeting things that we know people are responding to.
Yeah.
Which is what, like, if I was going to do paid traffic, that's exactly how I would want to approach it. And the reason we haven't done this to this point is that I've talked about it before, but every time we've talked about it, it's like, this is like a 6 to 9 month effort, where it's like a full on 6 to 9 month effort. For me to do it myself would be really time consuming and really probably expensive, because I wouldn't be able to do anything else, and we'd be burning a lot of money.
So let me ask you this. What is it? Because they are probably used to dealing with people who don't have enough of an audience, and they are helping them fine-tune their message and find the product to sell. You guys have quite the audience.
Well, some of their clients, they showed us I would say have bigger audiences we do.
They had some case studies of some really big. Most of their clients actually have big audiences in the personal space.
Hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers, and
And they actually were able to turn. This was the most impressive thing to me, was they were able to take someone that had a pretty big audience and had a $15 product offering. That was their price point on their product offering, and to run Facebook ads profitably, doing a 2 to 3x return on the Facebook ad investment. So that is pretty damn impressive, because that's a tight margin to work with. You know, if you can make money off of a $15 offer, you can make money off of
there
a
has to be a funnel
$50.
at the end of it. It can't just be $15 that they're converting on.
No, it's $15. That's it.
That's that's what he told us. Assuming that he's not lying, then
that just sounds too far-fetched to be realistic. Unless it's all a retargeted list, it's not fresh cold.
So it was supposedly cold traffic. I'm a bit skeptical too.
There has to be some black hat involved in that case. Man. I know too many Facebook marketers to believe this kind of
stuff. Okay, but the one thing that I think could make this work with the numbers he gave us was video ads. Video ads are ridiculously cheap. You can, if you do a good video ad, I know people that can get 2 or 3 cent video views. So I'm guessing that's what they were using. Because that's what he's been recommending to us.
Can you message me his name or whatever the website is?
Yeah.
I'll message all of us on the group chat.
But regardless,
that number sounds a little too much, guys. I would be skeptical at that point.
Well, he had a lot of good case studies. Regardless, he's willing to take some risk in this as well. So he's basically willing to be paid on performance for we have a call afterwards to negotiate the exact terms, but it sounds like it's probably worth taking a small risk on this to see what they can do and see,
So I mean, this approach though, I think this approach is what we need to be doing to scale up, because if this works, all right. So the 2 problems that I see with Simple Programmer right now, there's 2 of them. There is the fragmentation problem, the segmentation problem, and the guru problem. Okay, so the fragmentation problem is that our content covers such a wide range that the people that come in are coming in on 100 different vectors. So I can't sell more than 50 of anything to anyone. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is everyone who comes in is coming in because they saw John's content on YouTube or wherever and they really liked it, and they're instantly bonded to John and they don't want to hear from anyone else. So if this works, Manny, this is the exact model that guy, the martial arts guy that we've talked about a few times, used in his business. It's the Agora model, basically, where you have a lot of little gurus. Like we could. I've been talking to Jason about doing something around coding interviews. Well, if we can use Facebook ads to make Jason the king of coding interviews, then we can get people to come in and buy his coaching or his course without even knowing who John is. So he's the guru for coding interviews.
Yes and no, because I'm assuming you're now targeting cold audience.
We will probably do, I mean, we probably will be doing cold for this,
Because now you're doing product discovery, like the whole product market fit and the whole thing all over again, rather than having a list that you already can go to. And retargeting, I've been saying that all along, like retargeting.
I know. I have tried retargeting. Everybody says retargeting is the easiest thing. Retargeting is falling off a log, according to everyone, and I have not gotten it to work for us.
It's again though, like this is some of the things that they're going to focus on, right? Here's the thing, and here's the difference too, right? Yes, retargeting works. Okay, I agree. Yes. Retargeting works. Everyone's not a liar, but these people that are getting retargeting to work effectively are getting expertise in that, right? And as good as Josh is, him spending a few hours a week trying to run retargeting ads is not enough, right? You need an expert, especially, and it's becoming more competitive, of course, with Facebook. So that's the benefit of something like this. Is like, one of the problems is like we could hire a Facebook agency, and there's plenty of good Facebook advertising agencies out there. But and this is one of the things that in their pitch that really resonated with me. But the problem with that is that, okay, so they're like, here's leads. And we're like,
right,
okay, now what? Because
I don't want to pay for lead. I'm not paying for Facebook leads at this point, because I've done Facebook ads. I've done retargeting Facebook ads for leads, and I get 85% of them won't even open an email. Like they're completely non-responsive, to the point where I think they're just bots, like fake signups.
So it's a factor of not just the leads, but the nurturing of those leads, and the ultimately how you get the lead and what you sell at the end is really, it's all connected, right?
Yes.
To create that responsiveness. So that's where I think that there's a huge value here, is to say like, okay, look, we already kind of know what your audience is because we've got a big list, so we can kind of do lookalike targeting, and we can get an idea, and we can test out some segments of your audience, right? To narrow it down. Is it better to target people that are Java developers or maybe .NET developers, right? Like those kind of things actually make a difference here. So we can test that out. We can see where we can get the cheapest leads, and then we can figure out what they actually want. And then from there, maybe you've got a product that we can connect them with already, or maybe you can develop a product, and then we can create all the steps and all the funnel and all the pieces of engagement that gets this to become a profitable piece. Then we can rinse and repeat. And if we have someone else doing that, yes, again, we can make retargeting work. Yeah, but who's going to spend the time to learn that, or to get that? And even if you did, it's still better. It's still better to have a product that is designed specifically for the thing that that you're getting the lead for, and then retarget them on top of that. Right. Rather than trying to like force.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like the reason I haven't invested in retargeting is because, like, okay, so if I want to retarget people who visit the 10 steps to learn anything quickly sales page, it's like 100 people a day. So maybe I get 5 extra sales per month, not a huge deal. Meanwhile, how much money have I had to spend? How many ads have I had to test to get that to work? And then when I've tried retargeting for lead generation, like I said, it was the results, like the actual quality of the signups was really poor. Okay. We've spent like thousands of dollars on retargeting, trying different things out, and it hasn't. Okay. It's a fragmentation problem with retargeting. If you don't have a very large pipeline coming in for one particular thing, you end up with a bunch of fragmented. It just rolls the fragmentation out into the retargeting world now. And so now we have, like, I tried retargeting people that were coming and visiting our pages about coding interview stuff. Well, it's like a couple hundred, we get like a couple hundred people coming into that audience every day. So it's so small.
So I'm not, okay. So I understand retargeting is a big effort for you guys, and it could take a lot of time and energy. All I'm going back to is all I'm trying to understand is, you have the list, you have the audience, you guys are trying to figure out the product, and they're coming in and saying, hey, we can actually help you figure out a product better than you can do it yourself by bringing in cold traffic. That's where I'm kind of like, what? You guys are the experts. You guys know your audience. You guys have the list. You guys have a relationship, and you are saying that they will figure out a product for you rather than you figure it out for yourself?
No, they're going to provide we're still going to have to do all this ourselves. Like, we're still going to have to, I'm probably going to have to be the one writing all the copy, and probably be the one to ultimately come up with the product ideas. But they're going to be the engine that's going to be putting water through the
what I'm asking here, you guys, is, do you really need more traffic at this point to test a new offer? Or you just
we need more traffic in targeted areas.
The other thing here is that it's not necessarily do they need more traffic to do it, but one thing that I find that I've been running into lately is that I just don't have time to do it all the way that I would like to. Can come up with product ideas and hand them off to this group, and this group can go do the work to validate them and save them a bunch of effort, even if it's not perfect or not exactly how they would do it. it still may be worth it because it'll save them all of that effort that they don't have to put in, so they can focus on other things that leverage their business better.
So I am like Manny. I'm 100% like, we do not need more traffic at this point. Like we have a lot of traffic, but what this gets us so like if we just continue to do what we've been doing, which is the content creation stuff, we're going to end up with a larger version of the same. Like, we'll maybe be making more sales, but we'll have the same situation a year from now that we have now. What this allows us to do is go, instead of like just getting 100,000 new visitors to the website, it would be, can we get 50,000 people who are all looking for a job right now and interested in coding interviews? That's vastly different than just getting more traffic.
All right. And really the thing is, like, if you, what it really comes down to is this is a scalable model, right? It's like, yes, you can produce content and we can get traffic and we can get leads from that. But if we can turn on a faucet where we can profitably run ads and make more money than we're running for ads, regardless of what the rest of the situation of the business is, that is a revenue stream that we should have, right? That we do not have, that we haven't had the time or focus on. So if we can get that piece working, the biggest thing that stopped us from getting that piece working has just been the time and the dedication, right? And so if we can trust someone else to be our partner in doing that, and we don't want to become experts in running Facebook ads and all of that treadmill of doing that, but again, it's one of those things where there's no reason to not do this. There's no reason to not make more money, right? And plus, if we have this again, the biggest test too is, like, if you can take cold traffic from an ad and you can profitably pay for the ad and sell to them and make a profit from that, then absolutely that you can make that work with organic traffic, right? It's beyond a doubt. So that's the ultimate test. Is like, if you can do that there's no better way to find, I think, product market fit and the right product and the right offer than being profitable from paid traffic doing it. Because if you can do it there, then you can do it anywhere. So
right. But yeah, I definitely agree that more traffic is not what we need. It's the focus of it is what this is like significantly different than what we're doing now. And we've been doing the same thing for a long time, and I think we've gotten to a point where we've scaled it as far as we can scale it, at least in the short term. And we need something very different to help us get leveled up.
Yeah, if I were you, though, I would definitely set some expectations as far as what outcomes you want, what time frame you want them in, and that way you know kind of what you're dealing with some of this stuff, and that way you can call it success or not.
Right, and their model is like, they have a setup fee to get started, and I think the idea with the setup fee is that we should have a profitable funnel after we're done.
How much is the setup fee?
It's negotiated. We're trying to. $1 billion. It's $8,000 is what they quoted us to get started, and then.
Are you gonna share the name of that guy at all, or you don't want to share it on chat either? Chat, or message me on Google Hangouts.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
So, yeah. Anyway, so this. I think that something like this is what we need to get beyond the two problems that I highlighted. Like, I don't really see. What I've been hoping to do is find something within that core group of customers that we have, the potential customers, that is broad enough that it can hit enough of them that actually makes a difference for us and moves the needle. And what this does is it says, well, we're just going to go out and find those people instead, rather than trying different things with the current audience and figure out, like, okay, is there a magic key here that unlocks, the biggest portion of the list, and really helps the most people that we already have? I mean, I have tried a bunch of different things, and it's been basically just the same exact result every single time. So that's probably what we'll be doing in the next month or two. I think we'll know if this is going to work within a month or two. So it's not a huge. Yeah. I think and we're also going to try to get them to make the part of a big chunk of the setup fee to be contingent on actually building something that's profitable. So they're going to have a good amount of skin in the game. And their model is they want to be on a retainer. So they want to get past that that initial project and actually have a ongoing relationship. So he claims that all the customers that he's worked with, he's still working with, basically. So he hasn't had any big failures. So, yep.
Well, of course, that's what he claims. Anyways, okay. Here's just one thing I was thinking about as you guys were telling me that I'm not sure if that thing is the magic bullet, but you have to commit to making it work. And it may or may not work in a month or 2 or 3, but if you commit to making it work for a year or so, it probably will work. That's the challenge with anything like this, especially starting a whole new traffic source, especially paid traffic source. I'm not convinced that within a month or 2, you guys will start seeing the results and then it's all hunky-dory from there. I think at that point, you guys are committing to making this damn thing work all the way, rather than anything else that you thought would be working, which would be like a membership thing or something. Like, you're committing to making this whole funnel / traffic channel / product / everything else that he's saying will work. You're going to be spending all of the time and energy to make this damn thing work. It's not like a one-off effort that you test for 2 months and say, it worked or it didn't work. It's more like, well, fuck, we got to make this shit work for another 6 months or a year to see if it actually really works.
Well, for them, it is just going to be a 1 or 2 month, because the whole premise, what we're hiring them to do, is to create a profitable funnel that begins with paid advertising. And so if they either can or cannot do that, that's basically what it comes down to, right? Like the ongoing effort, I agree with you, of if this particular company doesn't work, do we pursue doing this on our own? Do we pursue another company? Do we pursue coaching? Right? That I agree, that commitment is a longer term. But for this particular engagement, the terms of the engagement are going to be very clear up front. At least I'm not going to sign any engagement where it's not explicit performance, right? So this is the thing. Like, we're not hiring you to see if maybe you can make this work. We're not hiring you to to build us an audience, or we're hiring you specifically for one purpose. And this is your purpose, is create and run a profitable funnel that has a greater than 1x return of the Facebook ad spend. If you can do that, there we go. That's the only, that's what we're looking for.
Do you really believe deep inside that within 2 months you guys can, or they can, figure out the ads, they can figure out the funnel, and they can actually tell you, like, they can do the copy, they can help you with the copy, and they can actually create a new product and make it all work within 2 months profitably?
They're not going to create a new product. Probably we're going to hook it up to an existing product, most likely, because we do have a pretty good amount of depth as far as products. It may involve us creating a new product, which, I can create a new product in 2 days. Like, creating a product is not a problem. So that's, so I definitely expect, that's the expectation. In fact, I'm just going to be straight out and say that is my expectation. If you can't meet that expectation, don't waste your fucking time or waste my fucking time, because you're not going to get paid.
Well,
yeah, that's fair. If you can be that explicit about this thing, because 2 months is a really short time for someone to turn on the traffic and turn on the funnel and create, like, get the copy and all. It's one thing when you have an existing list and you can throw up a sales page and record a product. That, I agree. 7 days you can launch a product and make $10,000 from it. But for them to be able to walk through the whole process on Facebook ads and make it work, it's a completely different game.
It's fine if they tell me it'll take 3 months or 4 months. I'm fine. Like, as long as you tell me what it's going to take, right, and you understand what the end result is, I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter. Like, from everything I've gathered,
money back or something, give them some skin in the game.
Right. Yeah. So, like, and they're not charging, an ongoing they're charging a setup fee, and the end of the setup is a profitable funnel. So that in itself, right, it doesn't matter really how long it takes them to do that, because it's not like they're bleeding us while there's no ongoing payment. So if they say this will take us 4 months to do, fine, it's fine, but do it in 4 months then. But again, it's one of those things, like, it's a low risk, high reward type of thing, right? I mean, if we end up spending, and hopefully the way that I would like to structure this deal, honestly, is to basically say, look, $4,000 we will pay you. The other $4,000 will be based on specific performance. If you can create a profitable funnel, right? And by profitable, it doesn't have to be wildly profitable. All it has to do is return higher than what we spend on ads. If you can do that, then we will pay the other $4,000, and we'll keep you on as retainer, right? If you can't do that, then we'll have sucked up the $4,000. We've paid you the $4,000, right? And that's it. So that's a pretty low risk, in my book, for the potential. If this works, if they can get us anywhere close to their case studies, which they've gotten, they're aiming for 3-4x return on ad spend, and they've gotten much higher according to their case studies. But if they can achieve anywhere close to that, it's a well calculated risk, I think.
Okay. While I'm talking, one of you guys needs to drop the link to this website. And I'll continue to talk until you do that.
It's like a filibuster, man. I'm gonna mentally archive Manny right now.
There we go. I'll talk.
But I have to keep talking until I get the link to this guy. So I have to continue to hijack this meeting until I know who this guy is and what he's trying to sell, and what he's saying. Not that sounds like he's getting pretty good returns on 3 to 4x. It's pretty darn good. All right, let's take a look. Carry on, guys. I'm good.
So I started emailing my list, and Josh will be gratified to hear that I'm setting up a Plinko machine, basically.
There you go.
So I currently have I have my onboarding campaign, which I sent to my entire list this week, and I had an 18% open rate, 2% unsubscribe rate, and 1% click-through rate. And I don't know what I really expected, but most of it was just stuff.
What's your
okay, here's a page and what?
What's your list size?
15,500.
18% open. Yeah, I guess you're warming up a cold list, so you're not going to get best right now. And I'm assuming these are not broadcasts; these are campaign emails.
They're campaign emails, so it's a list onboarding campaign. But the way I wrote it, it fit nicely with the kind of the drips and drabs that I've been sending out over broadcasts. So it didn't feel like it was like, hey, welcome to the list. It was, hey, look, this is what I'm all about, was the first email. And so it fit in. I actually got a bunch of replies that basically said, hey, this is right on with with what I'm looking for. And so that was nice to get. The third email, I think, sent them a link to a Discord server that I have set up. And so I have 506 listeners on the Discord setup, and so I've been chatting with people over there, which has been really fun. Been getting feedback on the shows. I mean, it's been really, really positive for me. Michelle started complaining because she was getting notified every time somebody chatted in general, and I just told her, she's like, who are all these people? I was like, well, I invited the whole list to the because we were using it for team stuff for about a month. But all the team stuff is limited to people who have the team role, and I also have a host's role, and so all the host chats are also protected. But yeah, so I just told her to mute the general channel, and then if there was something in there I needed her to handle, I'd bring her in. But anyway, it's been going really, really well. I'm getting the affiliate stuff together so that I can do affiliate offers every so often. But essentially what it's going to do is it's going to alternate between content, affiliate offer build up, and some of the content's going to have affiliate offers in it just because they mesh so cleanly. I'd really like to do an affiliate offer on 10 ways to learn anything.
That could be arranged.
I've got a sequence that
you might have to apply for getting accepted into that program.
That's right. Well, I'll just negotiate with Josh like Josh negotiates with Plural Sight. So
you can't win. You're not going to win that game, my friend.
You know how that one works, right?
Yeah.
I wrote that playbook.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've got that. I promoted like on the. I have an onboarding that pitches, so it'll pitch a show they're not subscribed to, and that'll go out next week. So I have React Roundup and Views on View currently have campaigns in there. I'm going to do one for Elixir Mix and probably one or two of the other shows, the smaller shows, and see if I can get people, because people are less likely, and so they'll get those, and then they'll get a content one. And the content one I'm looking at doing is how to stay current, and it's going to be kind of a broad overview. But at the end of that, I want to pitch 10 ways to learn anything, because I can lead that right in and basically talk about, okay, why do you care? Here's how you figure out what you want to learn, and then here's how you learn it. Like, here's how you learn it quickly, and then I can pitch a course.
Cool. For the podcast that they're not subscribed to, how are you doing that? Is it like different? Is it a Plinko machine type of thing where you've got different campaigns set up? Because one option, you can actually use tags and drip to like have different versions of the email and just have one email. Just throwing it out there. I've done this with products before where it's like, I know that they've already bought 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly, so I'm going to talk to them about how to market yourself. I did this. So I actually did this last year with our Cyber Monday sale. I made it geographically based. So if they were in the US or Europe, they got 20% off. Latin America, Asia, they got 80% off. And it was just the same exact email with just a conditional for tags. Yeah. So just something to stick in the hopper.
That's interesting. So I could also, if they're interested in, say, or they're subscribed to Ruby Rogues, when I pitch them React Roundup, I could say, oh, and here's an episode where we talked about React with Rails.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, good luck with getting email marketing going.
Yep. So yeah, I've got a bunch more of that going, but yeah, I need to find some other products to promote. But like on the React sequence, people also get pitched on like Wes Boss's courses and stuff like that. It's just like, because it's hey, have you checked out the show? Here are our most popular episodes. The show, here's here are ways to learn if you're new. Here are ways to learn if you're not new, or here are resources to learn. Sorry, and then I just give them lots of opportunities to subscribe.
Did you see that the ClickFunnels guys genius fucking Cyber Monday promotions? I forwarded you guys that email.
Russell Brunson?
No, not ClickFunnels. Pretty Link. Pretty Link.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Freaking brilliant! You realize what he did? He was selling Pretty Link, right, with a discount. That's fine. But all those other offers on there, those were not his offers. Those weren't his products. Those were all affiliate links. He figured out that all these companies were doing Cyber Monday, put them all in there, all related to WordPress for his list, and he probably made a bundle off of that. That was ingenious.
I know the guy that owns that.
Yeah, I met him a few times.
See how he lives here in Salt Lake.
Yeah,
we get lunch periodically.
Yeah,
that was
good.
Brilliant.
Oh, speaking of which, are we doing the Rumit deal?
It's like $29 a month.
No, it's $300. You get in the fine print it says save $59 if you buy one time.
Oh, it does. Okay.
So what's the offer?
How to write a sales page.
It's watching him write a sales page live. Like
how to write 6- and 7-figure sales pages.
So I made a decision because I have a tendency to buy these things and then not use them. And so I've made a commitment to myself that I won't buy things unless I know I'm going to use them right away. And I'm not sure I'm quite there yet.
Yeah.
I think it's something I'd use in the shortish term.
Josh and John cannot argue that they're not writing sales pages.
Well, I can argue that I'm not right. Well, I will eventually after I own TurboTax. But
pretty quickly, you guys will be writing sales pages for the Facebook ads.
The big problem is that I won't read it. I won't.
It's a 3-hour course, 3 or 4 hour course.
I know. I'm not going to consume it because I've got other stuff that I haven't consumed yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to pass as well.
All right. You all suck.
If you buy it, let us know how it is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe you could buy it and just share the login with all of us. Man, he's never going to talk to any of us again.
That's probably going to happen at some point. You're going to be like, oh, we talked about that. What exactly was that? Oh, man. Yeah. I was talking to John about creating some sort of a flagship program that I'm still not sure, but figuring out how I can charge or how I can basically create enough value which would generate a $99 a month membership for the community. And it's not book summaries for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be book summaries because book summaries are always much cheaper than that. So I've had numerous conversations with numerous people and different angles at it. And the one thing that I was talking to John about was the possibility of doing like a mastermind of sorts, where it's like you get live, maybe 1 or 2 live coaching calls, and along with that, you get business book summaries with it. So like live book discussions with it. So that's what I was trying to figure out if I could do that.
Yeah, like a content plus coaching kind of thing.
Yeah, not just content, because content by itself is never enough until it's huge.
Right.
Community, it's very hard to justify anyone paying $100 a month.
Yeah, either huge or completely exclusive. Like to the point where you're the only. That's where Adrian from Pi Image Search has been able to actually do that, because I think his stuff is just, my impression of it is that it's so, he's way ahead of Plural Sight. Like you can't get the stuff that he's teaching. He's done a good job of positioning himself at the bleeding edge and staying there. Like he switched gears from image recognition to machine learning, and he's just like out at the front. And if you do that, you can make it work.
That's interesting, I guess, in case of machine learning and AI, because it's constantly evolving and it's at the cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of book summaries, there isn't really anything cutting edge for the stuff that we do, except that there are new books that are coming out, and nobody cares if the books, like they learned about it today or tomorrow. That's not really, it's not like the book's knowledge is gonna change tomorrow. there forever.
Well, and if it is, then you probably shouldn't bother with it.
Yeah, technology is different from this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
What size is your list now?
like 15.
15,000.
Yeah.
15 people.
15 people.
Email them each individually every day.
Get on a call.
Yeah.
Promise them I'll respond to them.
Yeah.
It's the only way Manny's mom can hear from him.
Like, I'm too busy, motherfucker. I got 14 other people to deal with. You're not the only one.
I got all these people emailing me. What do you think I'm going to do?
So do you have a way to test drive this or pitch it? Because
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of going. I haven't like committed to this thing yet to even test it out, because I'm like back and forth between should I do this or should I just do my straight up book summaries and just continue to churn them out, and within a year I have another 200-300 book summaries, and that makes it so much more long-term play rather than this one. So part of me is like going back and forth between these two, like just committing to, because what the challenge with some of this stuff is like, it's not a good idea to just test it or just do it for a month or two and say, oh, I only got like 30 people. Fuck this shit. It's not worth it. Because I have to like literally sell the fuck out of it and get 100, 200, 300 people. And then it actually means something. But I have to get behind the cause for the next probably 5 to 6 months to really make it work. It's not going to work just within a month or two.
Right. Well, what the short-term tests do give you is a sense for what the long-term would look like. Yeah. So like with us, I want to continue with the membership, but I can do the math now on this, and in a couple of years, we're going to be at like $100,000 in revenue. Like that's not going to be, that doesn't transfer a year. Yes.
Yeah. That's really not worth it.
No, it does. That doesn't change the game. Right. No. And I know, okay, so if I'm getting 50 people a month, if I double the price, it's probably going to be 20 or 30. It's not going to be 50. Right. And so you can get a pretty good sense for like, all right, is this worth, where does this path lead?
Yeah. I mean, that's something I've been thinking a lot about as well, that it's either like, it has to be one thing that is the thing that we do, whatever it is, whether it's Simple Programmer or Chuck or me. But either just I commit to just doing book summaries all the way, or commit to this kind of mastermind where it's like book summaries are a part of it. And that is like, something along those lines. Because book summaries can somehow, like, because of the high volume, it can again go back to high numbers, or the mastermind, because of higher numbers, it can go to high numbers either. I mean, lower volume.
Yeah. The mastermind does push you more in the personality business direction.
Yeah, that's part of the challenge that I have been struggling with or wrestling with as well, compared to book summaries, which are not as personality as I think they are. They're just very vanilla, which is a good thing. And the good thing about book summaries is the more I have in the bag, the more I have in terms of the different topics and stuff, the overall customer value just keeps on increasing.
Yeah.
And lifetime value keeps on increasing. While the mastermind thing is that, yeah, I mean, I have to do a $99 a month. I wouldn't sell, it's probably not, it's nowhere worth it to sell $10, $20, $30 a month kind of group. It's
no, you don't have the reach.
Yeah.
What about, like, if you're going to be putting in that kind of work, could you get, it might be easier to get and less work to get $5,000 a month coaching clients. Have you tried that at all?
$5,000 a month? No,
sorry, $5,000 a month.
Right, $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
Oh, $5 into $1,000 a month.
Yeah. Right. Because you've got 15,000 people. So I mean, you can you can pretty easily figure out like what you can do, some quick back of the envelope math and figure out like where, because a $100 a month mastermind type of recurring thing is just going to have a certain level of uptake and resistance.
Churn.
And you're gonna. I mean,
this is the exact same thing I told you, Manny. Josh is saying the exact same thing. That like if you're going to spend the hour a week, you might as well just have a regular mastermind, and then just get like 5-10 people in and just do a mastermind, just like everyone does, for charge them $1,000 a month.
I mean,
not
Manny,
even individual coaching, just do a mastermind, and then you're multiplexing your time there.
Yeah, I mean, like
at that point, like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but I might as well just spend all of my time doing book summaries, because that's ultimately the biggest bang for buck. Because let me put it this way, it's a network effect. Every book I do, it increases the overall value of every summary that's out there.
Exactly.
Right?
The thing is, like, you should always optimize your life for money later, never for now.
And which is exactly what book summaries are.
Yeah.
In the sense, they are not like immediately, it's not big enough sale, but over time they continue to accumulate and create value.
Right.
Is that true? Like, have you seen a trend where you are like, if you were to launch a new book summary package to your whole list today, would that be a larger amount than maybe 6 months or a year ago?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because there are two different things.
I mean, have you done it? Have you actually seen that, or are you just theorizing?
Okay, so whenever we do a new product or new book summary, what you get is a new blood of customers. Some of them had bought before, some of them had never bought before. But then once they buy one, they're much more likely to buy the other one and the other one. And the upsell funnel and the bumps also work very well.
But I mean, I'm asking, like, are you seeing, because in our case, we have seen a market decline in appetite for product at price point. So if you're assuming that, just like, I would say test that assumption. So
I'm not assuming, because $99 price point I'm able to sell pretty easily, not just book summaries but courses. Well, I think just last week I was telling you, right? We didn't talk about that, but for Black Friday we did around 5K in sales, and around $10 EPC, $8 to $9 EPC for the mostly $99 to $49 products, with upsells and uptakes. So yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, I mean, if the demand is steady, that's great. Then I agree with what John's saying. Just that's an assumption to be aware of, like that the demand will stay steady.
Well,
based on what you've seen over
if the list grows and the demand continues to stay the same, even then the business continues to grow.
Well, the other thing that's adding revenue to Manny's business with the book summaries is that a lot of his traffic, like his customers, are coming from the summaries that are on the web page that have a downloadable.
Yeah.
So his lead generation, the more summaries he does, the more of those that he generates.
Right.
Blog content and videos that generate. So that content is important, because right now, like, if I had to say, like, what is the number one thing that you need to do, Manny, in order to improve the bottom line of your business, it's generate more traffic. Like, your traffic is small right now. Like, if you increase your traffic, that will increase your business more than anything else. That's the lowest hanging fruit right now. Like, optimizing the sale, coming out with new products and selling things will give you more revenue for sure, but it's a short-term effect. And the bump that, like, if you add one more book summary package to your to your offering, you may bump your revenue by 10% or 15% overall, because you'll have another thing to offer. But if you double your traffic, you double your revenue. So, and because your traffic is low enough right now, that target of doubling your traffic, your YouTube traffic, your website traffic, is not that high of a target to shoot for. So that's your lowest path of resistance.
Fair. Though part of me also begins to wonder that if I have enough book summaries, then I can go to ads and try to sell through ads and scale traffic that way. And you have enough, like 200-300 book summaries that you sell, and sell at a higher price point. as you go through the process.
Yeah, if you can get them targeted right, that makes sense.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. This is my theory on it, which is that you don't spend money on ads until you can hire someone to run the ads for you, until you can afford that. So and the reason why I say that is because the biggest asset of your business that like you don't know what's going to happen. Like if you could build an entire business that's profitable off of ads, and then Google AdWords suddenly, like the cost per click goes up, 500%, which it did to a ton of people, and they went out of business right back 10 years ago. So, but if you build your business on organic traffic, I mean, one of the beautiful things that we have with Simple Programmer, like it's hard to fuck it up, right? At this point, like it's like we have so much traffic coming in that we have so many options, and that traffic just keeps on growing. So that's the most valuable piece of the long-term longevity of the business. So that's why I'd say like focusing on that is more important. And then when you're generating enough money that you can actually hire someone to get the paid ads working, then again, it's different, I think, than most people would say, but I would rather see a long-standing business that has a lot more stability than a short-term. I mean, the opposite of that is the guys that sell T-shirts on Facebook, right? Because they just make a business overnight and they run ads and they're making a bunch of money, and then it stops working, and then they're fucked.
Well, okay, so yes, your point is very fair. The only thing is, you and I also know that traffic sources can be fickle. Ads are just another traffic source. Shit can go down with YouTube or with Google or with any of those things, and now you have to suffer through the consequences of them banning you or doing all sorts of things like that.
Well,
right?
that's why you have multiple sources, and really, as far as like the risk, the odds of the risk of something going where ads are not profitable versus Google like suddenly cutting off your traffic to your website. I mean, sure, it happens. It doesn't happen to very many people, and they're usually using black hat techniques anyway. Or even the same thing with YouTube. YouTube is definitely a higher risk for sure, but like people say that all the time, but realistically, like name me one person that had all their Google traffic just disappear and they weren't doing black hat techniques, right? Sites that have been around for a while that are producing good content, like their traffic doesn't suddenly dry up. Like, yes, there's a small risk to it, but I mean, shit, anything you do has a risk. As far as like things that are low risk, that's pretty much as low as you can get.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add.
I don't know what to add here.
A bunch of people just took their earbud out of their ear and looked at it and go, "This thing's still working."
What's happening here? What are we talking about?
Yeah. Grind it out. Grind it out.
Thanks. Sage words.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we should probably wrap it up then. Here.
Yep, probably.
Some words for the week.
Well, if we're going to do thoughts, my thought mostly is just trust your gut. It how do I put it? Because a lot of people are going to hear that and they're going to be like, well, don't take any advice. And I don't think that's what I'm saying. Essentially, as you talk to people, you're going to have a lot of ideas float by. And a lot of times you're going to have the right idea is going to stand out to you, and you may not completely understand why, but trust your gut. You have some stuff on different problems, and so if you've been chewing on a problem for a while, you may just attach to the right thing, and then you get this gut feel that it's the right way to go. So I've kind of done that with a few things. I'm not sure that all of them are going to pay off, but definitely some of the things that I've been working on lately have been working out that way. And I'll probably talk about some of that next week.
Let me see. Mine would be, it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, is the idea that consistency trumps intensity, right? And that you can actually get better results and easier results by applying consistency. So I was thinking about this a lot in terms of running. Like when I ran the marathon, this last marathon, it was so easy and I was much faster. And like the training for that wasn't even hard. Like I did training this week. It was kind of making me think about this on Tuesday, and I pushed it kind of hard to do what the training was required that my coach had said. And then at the end, he was like, how did you feel at the end? Because I ran like a 7.5 minute mile for 15 minutes after running like 8.5 minute miles for 20 minutes and a couple other things. So at the end of it, I was running this, and it was hard, like to after running already 5 miles to run 3 miles, 2 miles or whatever at 7.5 minute mile. And he was like, how many more minutes do you think you could have run at that pace? And I was like, probably like 5 minutes if I had to. And he's like, you should slow down then. Every time I want you to do the workout, I want you to, like, when you're doing these threshold runs, I want you to have at least 10 minutes left in the tank. And it's kind of interesting because I just been realizing that like as my training, I've tried different trainings where a lot of times, I guess what it comes down to is like not pushing all out, right? Maybe only giving 80%. It seems like, you should give 100% all the time, but sometimes just giving 80%, like a controlled, purposeful 80%, where you're purposefully leaving some in the tank, but doing it more frequently, right, is more beneficial because now you can actually do it more frequently. Because I got wiped out after that Tuesday run, and I still did my runs, but they weren't as good afterwards. But if I'm always giving 80%, then I always have some in the tank. Then I can always, and I actually, this isn't like my super original idea. There's a real famous, the guy that trains most of the MMA fighters. I can't remember his name now, but I heard him.
Firaz Sarabi.
Yeah. So he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about this, how he never pushes them to their limit. Like they train, they train very, very frequently, right? But they are intensity. He keeps the intensity very, very low. And I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, right? But more and more I'm seeing that, and again, I think this you can apply more than to just the physical realm, right? Like in business, I think the same thing applies. It's like, instead of like going all out and being like working like a ridiculous, can you like figure out how you can decrease the intensity a little bit, but increase the frequency a lot, right? And that is going to get you a much better overall performance in the end. And so that's kind of something I've been focusing on, is like, how can I, like, again, like I said, for running, you can run a marathon and be fucking fast at it, just running a ton of miles at a really slow pace, right? Because it's going to be that frequency of putting in all those miles, and then bam, right? And it's amazing how that works. But a lot of times we want to put in the Herculean effort, and that wipes us out, and it doesn't produce it doesn't allow us to have the frequency, because frequency beats it. Who says it? It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? It's all reps. Everything is reps. Reps are more important.
It's reps over a year, not reps over a 2-hour workout too, right? This is the core philosophy of gymnastic bodies. The Coach Summer, John, you might enjoy it. I don't know if you've heard he did 2 interviews with Tim Ferriss.
Okay.
On his podcast, and they went really deep into this, and he was talking like CrossFit is really about the intensity, and like the guys, they'll do like kettlebell swings till they rip their hands are bleeding, and they're proud about this. And Coach Summer's like, you're an idiot, because now you can't swing a kettlebell for 2 weeks.
Right.
Like nothing you could do today is going to make up for the 2 weeks that you could have had if you just paced yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
that's because it's about being a badass and not about. That's what I focus on. My hands are bleeding.
Well, and the true badass is the person that shows up twice a day.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing. Not even every day. Who shows up twice a day. it doesn't have to be a hard workout, but it's much harder to show up much more often. That's the thing, and it's an easier way. It's an easier way. It's like it's counterintuitive that the easier thing, like at the time, is actually the better thing, right? But the difference is that you're making up for intensity, where you're losing in intensity, you're making up for in frequency.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
So my thought is, I guess it's important to not lose sight of what it is that actually got you to do the things that you are doing. So this for me, like the frustrations that I've been feeling with Simple Programmer lately, I think a lot of it is actually what I really love, why I got into marketing is because I love writing. What I love is the process of talking to people, getting their stories, writing, and then putting them in a format that people like to read and buy from. Like that is what I really love.
Yeah.
And that superpower is not working in Simple Programmer. And that's what's been killing me. And I have a couple projects going that like on the side that are letting me tap back into that. And it's just like, well, and like the coding interview bootcamp, like that made me feel more alive than anything that I've done in the last 6 months, because I interviewed like 15 people for Jason, 15 of his coaching students. And I freaking love doing that. Like I love talking to people, which is weird because I'm an introvert, but in this role, I really love, exploring people's stories with them. And, I think a lot of people have that. Like most people, when you get into business, for most people, it's actually the opposite, where they love the technical aspect of what it is that they do. So, maybe you really love bookkeeping. If you're crazy like that, you really love programming. So you want to become a freelancer. And then you realize that you have all this other stuff that you have to do to run the business. Mm-hmm. You have to become a marketer, and it ends up all that ends up sucking you away from the thing that you actually enjoy. And so for me, like one of the things I'm hopeful, with this Facebook thing, we'll see if it works out. But really, like if it would put me back into a role where I think I would be doing, I detest like content creation, like creating products. I hated it when I had a Sublime list. One of the things that I really liked working with John when I first started, because that was his thing and I did my thing, and I've kind of gotten sucked into that role more. So I'm hopeful that if this Facebook thing ends up working out with this company, I would be mainly doing the copy. I would be like, I wouldn't be doing as much of the mechanical implementation of stuff that drives me insane. So, if you find yourself just really like frustrated, then take a gut check. Is there any space in in what you're doing for what actually got you into this in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So I've been listening to David Goggins' new book, Can't Hurt Me, that I didn't even know was out until John told me it's out. Apparently, the Kindle version comes out on December 4th. The hardcover comes out on December 4th. But this thing comes out a week in advance. Is that like a new marketing technique these days?
It's a smart one, I think. I mean, there's definitely releasing them all at the same time is a bad idea, I think. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. So as I was listening to the book, and he suggests, how much have you listened already, John?
I think I'm on like chapter 5 or 6.
Okay.
Like maybe like close to halfway through.
So as I'm listening, and the guy is constantly talking about, how'd you come up with this strategy or that strategy? And I like the layout of the book, like how they're done it. It's really unique. But he's constantly like, that's a cool strategy. That's a good strategy. But what's happening, and Goggins is all about like, hey, develop mental calluses, go do the hard shit, go do the tough shit, go do all the hard things in order to become who you want to become. And he gives all of these different strategies on how to do that, for how to approach life, so that you can become so that you can develop that mental toughness. But if you there are little things that he says in the book, there are specific things that he says. Those strategies, I think, are all useless. And I say that being a practitioner and being a complete student of mental toughness philosophy, the strategies are useless. What's really powerful in the whole book is realizing that every time he puts everything on the line to make this shit happen, right? That's the only time he actually shines, when he has a lot of stuff that he has to make work, or his identity is on the line. When his identity is on the line, or his family is on the line, or his new child is on the way, and he has to figure shit out, he figures out the way. But until then, he's just another mortal human being. But when he puts his identity on the line, or when he puts the biggest, when the demand is so big, he finds out the way. And that is really important to understand, that the strategies from David Goggins are not going to help any of us get anything. But his much bigger mindset of his identity is, I have to become the toughest motherfucker in this world. Right? So everything he does, if it doesn't jive with that identity, he does whatever he needs to do to become that person. He's doing everything he can do to become that person. So all the strategies he's suggesting are a result of him chasing that identity, or him chasing that that goal of making his family, taking care of his family. Like when he was trying to go through the SEAL school, and he was like, shit, even though my shins are broken and my foot is broken and blah, blah, it doesn't matter. I have to make it work. And no matter what, I have to make it work. And in the process, he figures out the strategy to make it work. But what's much bigger is that he put himself in the situation. And he gave another example of that in this guy in the gym. He saw him and he's like, oh, you're David Goggins. This is so cool, man. Yeah, I also want to do one of those ultra 50-mile marathons, blah, blah. I think I'll do it someday. And David Goggins tells him just one thing. He's like, you can just sign up. Why? That's the key. The distinction is not that the person is going to go and use all those strategies to get himself to run the 50-mile. It's the sign up is where the game actually starts. Now you figure out all the strategies along the way. So
no, and that's absolutely right. And that's what happened again with me in this marathon too. It's like, once I signed up for that Las Vegas marathon, and I committed to everyone that I'm going to run this in under 4 hours, even though my previous time was 4 hours and 46 minutes to knock 46. Right. And that was hard. I had to figure, I was like, the very next thing I did was like, fuck, let me go find a training program that's going to ensure, what can I do that's going to make sure that I can make this in under 4 hours. And it forced me. If I would have what I was doing up until that point was, I was telling myself, when I get close to the point where I feel like I can run a marathon in under 4 hours, then I'll sign up for the next one. Yeah. And that could be years, right? Yeah. I could be right. But when I signed up for it, it made it so that it had to happen. Otherwise, because my identity was on the line. It's like, I'm posting on Facebook, I'm posting on Instagram, I'm making YouTube videos saying I'm going to run this marathon in under 4 hours. Well, I better fucking do it.
Yeah, it's commit first, figure it out later.
Yeah.
All those strategies are great. I'm not knocking on Goggins, but that's the thing. His commitment first is the ultimate thing. Commit, motherfucker, and you figure it out.
All right, I'm signing up for a marathon.
Strategy. Yeah. Chuck is signing up for a 4-hour marathon in 3 months.
That's right. One of my legs might fall off, but I'm doing it.
Well, you're gonna listen to Goggins while you're running. You're gonna listen.
I'd like to get to the point where I could run a marathon.
Well, do it. Sign up.
Sign up is the only way. Just like what we just talked about. That's what we're talking about. Sign up is the first
you guys are jerks.
You walked into this one, Chuck. I kept my mouth shut, if you notice.
Here's all you gotta do, Chuck. Sign up for one that's gonna happen in October. 3 months, or maybe
6 months. I would say 6 months. Yeah.
Okay, 6 months, and then hire a coach. right? My running coach is like
or might not
100
be John Sonmez.
huh?
The coach's name might or might not be John Sonmez.
No. Hire a real running coach. Like I'm paying like $130 a month. That's nothing for a running coach.
Yeah, that's
but-
not bad.
And he tells me exactly what to work out and exactly what to do. So like if you do that, if you sign up for one that's in 6 months and you hire a coach, in fact, you could hire the coach and ask the coach to pick one for you to run. You'll get there, like, because you'll have to, because it'll be like you need to run 5 miles today, so that'll be on your schedule and you'll do it. So
Yeah, I think
Sure.
the Deseret News Marathon's in July and the St. George Marathon is in October.
Boom. Which one do you like better?
When I was a kid, my dad ran the St. George Marathon.
That's it.
Yeah, actually, he ran both, but when he ran the St. George Marathon, he was like blowing out his quads because at the end you wind up doing a bunch of uphill.
Oh yeah.
The Deseret News Marathon run. Let me pull it up here. Oh yeah, it's a 3,200 foot elevation drop over the course of the marathon.
That's not good.
Of course, running downhill is hard too, right? For that distance.
It's dangerous. Like uphill is hard, downhill is dangerous. That's how I see it.
yeah, true.
But yeah, so they finished the race in downtown Salt Lake.
Sounds like you signed up for the last one then.
Dang, I was hoping it'd be more expensive than that. Because the race is
it'll be
85 bucks.
expensive.
Yeah, no, sign up and then hire the coach. Then it'll be expensive.
Dude, we're just making you do the Goggins shit.
Yeah. You want my coach?
I was joking, you guys.
There.
But I'm seriously thinking about it now.
No, do it. Okay, my the coaches that I use, he's got a bunch of coaches. It's McCurdytrained.com. I'll put it in here, and you can sign up. And like I said, $130 a month. These guys are good, and they'll give you an exact training program to get you there, and then you'll be able to do it.
That's actually like, even though Goggins says sometimes he talks about like how he's willing himself into doing all those things and willpower. Actually, he is a shining testament of the fact that willpower doesn't work, because everything that he does is all lined up with his identity being in question or him putting shit on
No,
the
it's
line.
true. If I hired a coach to kick my ass, I would do it.
I'll do it. Nothing's stopping you.
Can you email me that link, John?
I just dropped it in the chat.
We're just watching you while you're signing up for the marathon here, Chuck.
Yeah.
Typey.
Make sure you do it.
You can send us the email confirmation on the
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I
All
hate
right.
you guys.
All right. Oh, hey, one last quick thing. Do we want to do this? We were talking about doing like where we all try to get like 8 Pomodoro worth of work done before, was it noon or 2 o'clock? What were we saying? Before noon?
Sometime.
Sometime.
Do it when?
I mean, we can pick the time, but
I'm with you. I'm all for it. I like it.
Want to do that for a challenge next week to see what?
12 is even better, because then it forces you to get shit done way early in the day, and now you're free to do whatever the fuck you want.
So 8 Pomodoros every day next week?
Every
By
day
12
next week by 12 p.m.
And the winner gets what? Who clocks in first gets what? Do we all put in like $20 for this challenge?
Well, so the only questions I have are like Tuesday and Wednesday morning. I have podcasts. So do those count as Pomodoros if I just am recording shows?
No.
So I have to get up early. Same with
Yeah.
Programmers, right? It'll take up an hour or so before noon.
Exactly.
So we'd have to get up
Yeah.
early on Friday.
Yeah. I mean,
You guys are
podcast.
bastards.
I can talk about no. So here's the thing: if podcast can be really demanding, or recording a video can be really taxing. So I would think that would still be counted as a Pomodoro if you're recording a video, man.
Recording a video, but not a podcast, because the podcast you're just there talking. Like it has to be
Oh,
like
sure. My work's not real work. Thanks. Steve.
recording YouTube videos. Now that is real work.
See, Josh talking to people and doing interviews and writing, that's just fun. That's not work. We're talking
Yes.
about real operational work. That's not it.
We're talking about work where you set the
Yeah,
Pomodoro timer and it has to be focused work. So recording a podcast doesn't count. Recording a video does because you are specifically focused on making that video.
Yeah, if you can time
single
box it
focus.
to the 25 minutes.
Right. Whereas if you're doing a podcast, you can be talking, you can be looking at your browser window, like you can that's like it's not focused hard work. It's not what Cal Newport would call deep work.
Yeah, when you're creating value and you're totally undistracted, you're totally focused, and you're creating new value, that's the element that's like really important piece of hard work, piece of deep work.
All right, let's see what does next week look like. Next week's pretty tame.
So we could do this. What we could do is we could say, if you don't make it, if you don't do it, then you lose $100
Every day.
every day.
Yeah,
For
so every day
that you
20 bucks.
miss.
Every day $20 or $25. That's probably easier than just saying the week, because then every day the deadline starts anew. and
Oh,
you
I
have to-
see. Yeah. So
you
you
have to
lose.
execute on it every day.
You lose $25 a day that you don't meet the goal.
You realize that Tuesday morning I'm gonna have to get up at like 2 a.m., right? If we do it by
And that's
noon.
assuming you can do 4 hours back-to-back Pomodoros, which is like brutal.
Yeah.
If,
Yeah, it is.
if you are actually making that assumption, it's not realistic.
Plus, I've got like a meeting like on Wednesday for like 2 hours downtown.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Well, we'll be done by then.
Huh?
You're talking about Pat Flynn's meetup?
No, I've got a different one with the
Aaron?
Maverick group, right? So
Okay.
it's going to be tough. Plus, I'm running how many miles every morning and whatnot. So, but
Wah.
I'm just saying it's going to be hard, but I'm willing to do it.
I haven't even looked
do
at my calendar because I'm ready to commit before even figuring out if I can do it or not.
Exactly.
I look at my
All
calendar,
right.
I find excuses for why I can't do it.
All right. So whoever, if you miss it, okay. So the rules of the game is this: if you fail to do it by noon, $25.
A day.
We'll settle it. Yeah, per day that you fail to do it, and then
And then at the end of the day, everyone shares the spoils.
right, everyone. Yeah. Basically, it'll get divided back out by 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether
Yeah,
you
and-
won or lost, it's like divided back by 4, so you maybe get some part of your money back, but the winner gets everything more or less, the most.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then you have to screenshot or have some way of showing that you're done by noon.
Yeah.
what you were-
Kanban Flow used to have this thing where you literally could track your flow points, your Pomodoro
Yeah.
points every day. I don't know if they still do it. They used to show your exact flow numbers.
But by 12:30 every day, you have to have your proof mailed to the Entre Programmers group.
Hold on, it's
What
12:30
kind
or
of proof?
12?
Well,
Or
you have to have it done by 12, but you have to have your proof mailed by 12:30, so you don't waste any time.
So the easiest would be like in Kanban Flow, there's a timer that shows, like you can look at the timer, you can look at your log, and the log
Yeah.
shows exactly what you did,
But not everyone's using Kanban flow. I don't think.
which they should be. Why the hell are you not? Like, damn, it's a damn good tool. How else are you gonna prove that you did it?
You could write it down. You could screenshot it. Like,
It's just honor. It's all
you
personal
have
honor.
to say
honor
you have to
systems.
say what you
Have to
did
be.
for each of the 8 Pomodoro. That's
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I think it's
However
all
you
about
want to.
personal honor, because if you feel good about getting your 8 things done, that's way more important than anything else. Like
Well,
that-
but you still have to say what they are. Otherwise the accountability is too difficult.
yeah.
Okay.
Kanban Flow. Use Kanban Flow. That's the easiest. That's awesome. Josh, you use it?
No.
No, I don't.
What? John's been like freaking evangelizing that shit for so long. How come you guys are not on it? As soon as I saw it, I was like, damn, this is good.
Poor man's Trello.
Do you know where I would be if I did everything John said?
You would be like John.
All right, I've got to jump off. I've got another
Okay.
meeting scheduled.
All right,
Right.
so we're committed to this though, right? Next week.
Whatever.
All right.
I freaking hate you guys.
All right,
All
guys.
right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derek as we figure it out. We are the Entre Programmers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developers.